Good evening, everybody. Oh my goodness, look at all the beautiful faces on the call tonight. I am really, really excited to be your host and trainer tonight. So my name is Danny Wells and I am a Regional Vice President with Arbonne International. And I just want to give a massive welcome to anybody new on the call tonight. Well done for figuring Zoom out and for logging on to the call to listen, and a massive welcome to all of the rest of the team for joining in on our weekly Sunday night team training. You guys are amazing. You're showing up. You're ready to learn. I hope you've got your pens and paper ready, because I'm going to do a training tonight where you need to make a few little notes, and I'm going to embrace the chat tonight. So if anybody doesn't know how to use the chat, if you're using a laptop and just wave your mouse on the laptop, there's a button that says chat and it'll appear on the side. If you're using a phone or an iPad, then you just scroll onto the screen and there'll be a bit that says participants. Click on that, open up chat, and the chat will be in there. So I'm going to ask a few questions as we go on our training tonight, and you can put something in the chat. Right. Before I begin my training, I'm going to go through our weekly recognition. I've got a whole list of success that people have achieved this week, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. I love seeing everybody be successful in their business and within themselves. So it is Sunday the 22nd of Jan, and I'm going to start off with the new district managers in qualification. So as of this week, we have brand new district manager in qualification, Lucy Pryor, sponsored by myself, Danny Wells. Well done, Lucy. Okay, next up, brand new district manager in qualification, Julie Hannah Cheeseworth, sponsored by myself, Danny Wells. She works the night by the water. Okay, brand new district manager in qualification, Babs Coates, sponsored by Vic McHale. Just once a life for a baby. And brand new district manager in qualification, Katie Hewlett, sponsored by Jennifer Cowie. No one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of mine. Okay, any DMQs missed, pop them in the chat and I'll add them on. Right, Roger Bannister. So this is the award given to all independent consultants that hit their maintenance by mid-month. This is a prestigious award. This is absolutely incredible. So these are the people that hit their Roger Bannister award this week. Lucy Pryor. Woo! Area manager Suzanne Wells. Woo! District manager Jane Brown. Woo! District manager Stacey Blackley. District manager in qualification Katie Hewlett. Area manager Kelly Bromley. District manager Hayley Cashin. Area manager in qualification Carol Sutton Houghton. And district manager in qualification Babs Coates. Anyone missed, pop them in the chat. Right, welcome to new independent consultants this week. So these are our brand new independent consultants as of this week. So a massive welcome to Ross Clamp, sponsored by Nikki Martin. A massive welcome to Carrie Billings, sponsored by Nikki Martin. Area manager Nikki Martin, should I say. A massive welcome to Chloe Benny, sponsored by Lisa Cooper in the Jess Meek district. Massive welcome to Gloria Steele, sponsored by Lisa Cooper in Jess Meek district. And a massive welcome to our brand new Canadian consultant, Rachel Thorne, sponsored by Claire Russell-Smith. Massive welcome to Charlie Dodd, sponsored by Caroline Stalker. And a massive welcome to Pamela Musson, sponsored by Caroline Stalker. Now she got a 6-year-old trying to keep. Okay, and we've also, anyone missed, pop them in the chat. And we've also got an incentive running throughout the team for anybody that promotes over December, January and February. earned themselves a place at a team meal in March before Nation Training, and anybody that's a district manager or above that hits their Roger Bannister Award 2 times in that 3-month period earns himself a place at the meal. So far we have area managing qualifications Carol Sutton Houghton. We have, who's also earned this, area managing qualification Natalie Crawford. And brand new district manager Caroline Stalker. Okay, so I think that's all the recognition. I hope I haven't missed anybody. There's nothing on the chat, so I'm hoping that I've got everybody. Right, so a couple of dates for your diary before we proceed. So as you're probably all aware, we have an amazing event coming up on Saturday, the 18th of February, which is our Team Leadership Academy. So for anybody that has been in the business for a few weeks or longer will probably be aware that a lot of teams get together and do once every 12 months, sometimes once every 6 months, a big event that's called a Leadership Academy. It's an all-day event, and they have all people in the team up on stage training on different topics that they're passionate about or that they're good at, their skills, and it's a great day for everybody to get together and to learn from. So you guys will probably all know that our team, because we're so widespread, we're all over the world, we're still a fairly newish team within the past few years, and I know Fiona's been in the business since day one in the UK, but we haven't had the ability to do a leadership academy ourselves. But now we have. And do you know why? Because the team is absolutely exploding. Because of you guys, we are literally like pop, 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 district managers, new consultants. Our team is completely exploding. So there is a need now for us to have our own leadership academy. So that is exactly what we're doing. Myself and Fiona, with the help of Andrea Spicer, putting together the leadership academy. We've had a call tonight to go through the topics and the agenda and the order, and everything is in place for you all to have the most phenomenal day you can imagine in your business. So you do need to purchase your ticket, which is £25. That's it, £25 for a whole day training on a Saturday, and that does include tea and coffees on arrival and tea and coffee at lunch. Bring your own dinner though. And you're going to get so much from this day. The trainers and the speakers are incredible. We have got a guest speaker with the keynote talk, which is National Vice President Nicholas Smithson. So a lot of us know her as being the first United Kingdom MVP to get there with a child. Like, she started this business with a baby and she's got to the top of the business. So she's just phenomenal, absolutely incredible, very down to earth and very lovely as well. So she's going to travel from Manchester to come to our Leadership Academy, and it is in Kettering, which is near Northampton in the East Midlands. Now, you do need to get your ticket because they are selling out, and they're going to go live to everybody on the 1st of February. So we, as our team, we get the early bird. So we get the ticket now while it's on pre-sale. On the 1st of Feb, it goes out to everybody. So please make sure that you get your ticket. Make sure that you invite all of your guests that you want to invite to come along. So that is our Leadership Academy. Right, that is all of the updates. So I'm going to start with the training now. Right. I'm just going to mute everybody and check everybody is muted. Mute all. There we go. Right. Okay, so I've got a slideshow. So I'm just going to go onto my slideshow and get started with tonight's training. Okay, so our training for tonight is how do we sponsor success-minded people. So for anybody that has already sponsored somebody into this business and tried to teach them how they can be an independent consultant and successful within their own business, you'll know that what we really want is to sponsor people that want this business, that are success-minded, that get it, that want it, that are independent, that are willing to do what they need to do to make their business a success. So how do we do this? How do we achieve this? How do we sponsor success-minded people? So that is my training for tonight. Right, okay, so please do use the chat. Go back there. Please do utilise the chat by all means. So has anybody here heard of the law of the lid? So if you have, just pop yes into the chat if you've heard of the law of the lid. And I'm going to explain what the law of the lid is. I hadn't heard of it pre-Arbonne, but I have since read this book by John C. Maxwell, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and he talks about the law of the lid. So what it basically means is that your ability to sponsor somebody into this business will be at the same level that you are. So if you are, I'm just trying to think of an example, not very, oh my gosh, brain's like, I've got brain fog now. If you're not very passionate, then you're not going to sponsor anybody into the business that has passion, because you're not that. You're like, you will only attract what you are. So we need to raise our lid in this business so that we can sponsor success-minded people. So my training tonight is all about the law of the lid, and it's a very brief overview. So if you listen to this training and think that it's something that you'd love to learn more about, please buy this book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, because it goes through the law of the lid. So I want you to pop in the chat what your perfect character traits are of a business builder. So if you were to sponsor somebody and they were going to be the most perfect business builder in the entire world, what character traits would you want out of your business builder? So start putting things in the chat. For some reason, it won't show me the chat without my screen closing down, so I don't know if I can read them out. I don't really know how to get them on at the same time. So just pop in the chat anyway, and just write down the character traits that you would want from a business builder. So what kind of things would you be looking for in a business builder? So because I've done this training before, I already had together a load of character traits that most people said that they wanted. So there was a common theme between character traits that people said that they wanted out of a business builder. And what I've done is put together an acronym that spells the word pride. So the most common traits that people said that they were looking for in a business builder that they've sponsored is passion, resolve, integrity, drive and desire, and excitement. So those are the 5 most common character traits that seem to come up when people say that they want to sponsor somebody with these particular character traits. So are these the character traits that you would be looking for in a business builder? Passion, resolve, integrity, drive and desire, excitement. Are those the things that you want from a business builder? So what I'm going to do is cover each of those 5 character traits, and then I'm going to go through how you can sponsor somebody with those character traits. So we're going to start off with P. So the P is for passion. So we have to find people with passion. A passion for life, a passion for winning, a passion for wanting to do more than they are doing right now. And it's amazing to me that you can feel someone's passion. So some of these people that within our team that are oozing with passion, so many of you are, but the people that really stood out to me that literally like were dripping with passion were District Manager Stacey Blackley. You know, she is incredibly passionate. She's just, passion's like her middle name. Area Manager in Qualification Carol Sutton Houghton, and District Manager Sammy Jo Lewis. These were the people that came to mind that had enormous amounts of passion, and you can see that in the way that they run their business, in the way that they talk to people, in the way that they are as people, in the way that they are as parents, they're all parents, in the way that they are as wives, as the way that just they are in life, not just in Arbonne, just in life. They are passionate people. And passion is not something that you can just give to somebody. You can't just transfer passion over. Passion is something that people internally have. So on the outside, when my sponsor, Emma Dickinson, was thinking about who she should talk to about this business, there is no way that to look at me that Emma would have thought Danni is going to be good at this business, because she could easily have said Danni doesn't have any money, Danni doesn't have any time, Danni's busy with the girls, Ian's always working, so there's no way she can build an Arbonne business. But Emma didn't do that. She thought to herself, Danni has passion. Yes, she doesn't have any money for this business. Yes, she doesn't have any time. She doesn't have any skills. She doesn't have any business knowledge. But what she has is passion. And that is one of the reasons why Emma spoke to me about this business, because I did have a fire lit inside of my belly that was looking for an outlet. I was looking for something. I just didn't know what. And she spoke to me because she knew I had passion for something. I was passionate. And pre-Arbonne, I was a passionate mum. I was a passionate wife. I was a passionate friend. I had passion. So we need to look for people that have got high levels of passion. And when you look at every single successful person in this business, you've only got to even look at the area managers and above in this team: Fiona McCarthy, Rebecca Moore, Kelly Bromley, Jennifer Cowie, Suzanne Wells, Nikki Marchant. You've only got to look at the area managers within our team, not to mention the teams around us. These people, these successful people, have high levels of passion. If there's anyone else you can think of that has high levels of passion, put their name down in the chat. Let's start thinking about who has high levels of passion. Who can we start thinking about that when we think of them, we're like, oh my goodness, yes, they have high levels of passion. These people are winning at life. They have intense amount of passion. They've got a passion for themselves. They've got a passion for changing lives, and they want to impact on the world. And this is a character trait of success-minded people. And that is where I want to begin, looking for people who have passion. And you can feel that when you talk to somebody. So that is the first character trait. So what I want you to do is to write down where you are on a scale of 10 out of 10. So 10 being Carol Sutton-Houghton, 10 being Sammy Jo Lewis, 10 being Stacey Blackley, 10 being all the area managers on the call. 10 out of 10 is high levels of passion. Where are you right now? And do you know what? If you're 1 or a 2, that's absolutely okay. The purpose of this call isn't to expose anybody. It isn't to judge anybody. It's just about moving up another notch. When I did this call 6 months ago, a lot of people said to me that they wrote themselves down as a 1 or a 2 for passion and for some of the other traits that we're going to go through. But after giving them the tools for helping, they've managed to move up. So I'm hoping that those people that said 6 months ago they were a 1 out of 10 for passion are on the call now saying, I'm a 6 out of 10 for passion. You know, I've managed to use the tools and move up. It doesn't matter what your number is out of 1 out of 10. All that matters is that in 6 months' time, you've moved up. So write down where you are out of 10 for having passion. What is your character trait for passion out of 10? Okay, the R. The R stands for resolve. So, in other words, determination. Now, to me, resolve is the ability for somebody to get knocked down 10 times and get up 11 times. Resolve is someone who has people say no, 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 but yet they keep on going because they know that there is a yes somewhere around the corner. Resolve is people who have their parties cancelled, and rather than going home sulking about it and whining, they go out there and book more because they know that the more parties or workshops or one-to-ones that they book, the more that are going to stick. And that is resolve. Someone who just has the innate ability to get back up when they get knocked down. So some of the people that come to mind with high levels of resolve, we've got District Manager Hayley Casham, District Manager Jessica Meek, District Manager Heidi Farrow, District Manager in Qualification Melanie Hennessy, District Manager or Doctor, I should say Vic McHale, and District Manager in Qualification Emma Wood. These people have high levels of resolve. So who can you think of within the team that you can pop their name in the chat that when they get knocked down, when they get cancellations, when they get let down, when things happen that shouldn't be happening, they still get back up anyway? You know, when they get stood up or when something happens that you just think, oh my goodness, these are the people that go, oh my gosh, it was a plot twist ready for my autobiography. These are the people with high levels of resolve. And it's amazing to see people that have got high levels of resolve. Absolutely incredible. So I don't know about anybody else on the call, but I don't want to sponsor people who they come into the business and the moment they hear their first no, they're off into witness protection. I want to sponsor people that are in this for the long game, that have got high levels of resolve. So you're probably thinking, me too, I want to sponsor people with high levels of resolve, but how do I know? If I'm sponsoring somebody that I've never met, I don't really know them, how do I know if they've got high level of resolve? Now, the answer to that is all you have to do is listen to how they talk. If somebody talks in a victim mentality, they probably don't have high levels of resolve. And if they're always saying things, well, this happened to me and it's really unfortunate and worries me, and this happened to my house and my boyfriend left, and blah, 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 blah. And if they're talking like they're a victim, then they have probably not got high levels of resolve. Whereas if they talk about things that have happened to them, but they have embraced it and they say, you know, this happened to me and it was really unfortunate, but this is how I overcome it. This was my strength. This was how I got through that. And I can only think this week about Jess Meek, who had the plot twist, I love the word plot twist, thrown into her life, where she was given the ultimatum that left her with no other option but to homeschool her daughter. And for a lot of people, they would turn into a victim about that, but Jess didn't. She took that in her stride. She showed courage, she showed strength, and she has high levels of resolve, and she's been so great about it. And it's listening to how people talk that you get to know if they're a victim or a warrior, if they have resolve or they don't have resolve. So when you're talking to people, ask them questions and listen to how they talk about things in their life, and that is how you'll know if they've got high levels of resolve or not. So what I would like you to do here is to write down where you are out of 10. So 0 being no resolve at all. If somebody said no to you, that's it. You'd quit your business, shop would be closed, that would be it, you'd be gone. 10 being, I'm still going to be in this business even if I am building it in 10 years time and I'm not yet a national vice president. So that is our wonderful Fiona McCarthy. She started this business on day 1 in the UK. She had 0 support because there wasn't much going on. She wasn't aware of much for about 5 years, really. And she stuck it out. I mean, my goodness me, how many people would not have stuck that out? But she did. And she's here today, 10 years later. She has high levels of resolve, and that's how we should be. If somebody was to say to you, you're not going to be a national vice president in 10 years time, it's going to take you longer, would you still be building this business? Now for me, I would be, because I love the products, I love the culture, I love what Arbonne gives me. Aside from the money, I still love everything else it gives me. I would be, but I have high levels of resolve. Do you? So where is your resolve? And again, I emphasize, if you're low on resolve, that's okay. The point isn't to have high levels at the moment, it's to grow into that. So write down where you are in your resolve. Are you a 0? Are you 10? Are you somewhere in between? Okay, the I in pride, integrity. Now, this is one of my most important characteristics that I look for in somebody. And somebody once said to me, how, you know, integrity, it can't be bought. And I really believe that. And there are so many people out there who just don't have integrity. And I don't know about you guys, but I really don't want people in my team that are going to be forcing sales at the end of the month just so they can get a promotion or earn a trip. I don't want people to be misleading. I don't want people to be putting a spin on things and not being truthful. You know, I really don't want that in my team, and I definitely don't want to sponsor people that are willing to do that, you know, to be misleading or manipulative. That's not the culture that we have in this team, and even in Arbonne at all. And I don't want that in my team at all. So when people come into the business, I make sure that they know that integrity is something that we pride ourselves on in Arbonne. You know, we need to be honest. We are not about getting people. People that know me know that I ban the word get. And when people message me saying, how do I get people? I'm like, I hate the word get. I hate it. We're about sharing. We're about helping. We're about listening. We are consultants. We're not there to sell people everything that we have in our shop. We are about listening to what people want and making recommendations and letting that person choose what is right for them, letting them decide. And people that came to my mind that had high levels of integrity were area manager in qualification, CJ, or otherwise known as Carlin Carpenter, who many of us know is the pinnacle of sending people back. When she listens to people say to her, I've heard of Arbonne, I wasn't sure if it was something for me or not, what do you think? CJ will say, oh my gosh, I love Arbonne, but who was it that spoke to you about your business? Are they still building a business? You really want to go back and speak to them. CJ always sends people back to an active consultant, if there is an active consultant. Obviously, if there isn't, then it's different. And if they don't want to go back over there, then it's different. But you always need to make sure that you've covered that. Make sure that the person that originally spoke to them about Arbonne is willing to talk to them about it again. Send them back. Have that integrity to do the right thing. Don't ever badmouth anybody. Even if there's another consultant that you dislike, you don't need to tell other people about that. Have the integrity to do the right thing. We are professionals. We don't need to be, acting like we're in high school. We are grown adults having that high level of professionalism. District managing qualification, Gemma Wilford, high levels of integrity. Gemma's actually messaged me a few times over the past year to say, Danni, somebody's messaged me about the business and you're a mutual friend. Have you spoken to them about the business? And more for me, because I would then say to Gemma, oh my goodness, I did do years ago, but I didn't follow up, or I didn't do what I should have done, or I didn't explain it properly. So I'm like, you speak to them, it's absolutely okay. And Gemma's done that quite a few times. So she really, really, embodies that high level of integrity within this business. And then district manager Kelly Atkinson down in London, I actually had a message from another consultant saying, Danni, there's a girl in your team called Kelly Atkinson who spoke to somebody at a fair or fete, and they were asking about Arbonne products, but they already had a consultant, and Kelly didn't make that sale. She advised them, she consulted them, and then sent them back. And I was like, yeah, that's Kelly. I was like, that's our team. That's what we're about. We're about integrity. We're about doing the right thing. So every time that somebody goes out to help somebody else, they are taking your credibility as a vice president or as a sponsor or as a consultant with you. They take the credibility of you and Arbonne with them. So if you sponsor somebody into the business and they don't do the right thing, it's you that it almost comes back on, and your credibility, which is not what you want. So you want to sponsor people with high levels of integrity into the business. So what I want you to do is to write down where you are with integrity, doing the right thing, making sure that you're always professional, making sure that if you are a few sales away at the end of the month from completing an incentive, you're not pushing product onto people. And I'll tell you, when I did do that, I once was really close to something. I can't remember what it was, and maybe a few hundred QB away. And I rang up my friend who is a preferred client and said, I'm really close to a competition or something. Will you buy a load of products? The Green Balance is really high QB. Buy a load of the Green Balance. You'll love it. It'll be absolutely fine. And I think I convinced her to buy like 5 tubs of the Green Balance. And whatever the thing was, I think I earned. And then I went to go and see her a few months later. She had all this Green Balance in the kitchen. And I said, what's all this Green Balance? And she said, oh, don't you remember? You needed it. You needed me to buy it that time. And I was like, oh, yeah, but are you not using it? She said, oh, no, I don't like it. I said, oh, well, why did you buy it? And she said, well, I really wanted to help you out. And I said, well, yeah, I know, but if you didn't like the Green Balance, then why did you buy it? And I said, why didn't you tell me? You could have sent it back. And she was like, oh, I don't know. And I felt awful. I honestly felt so bad, because I should have been a better consultant. I should have said to her, I'm this far away from X, Y, and Z. Is there anything that I can help you with that you are looking for? And not just told her to buy the Green Balance, assuming that she would like it and love it, which she didn't. And that was a bad part on me. So I've had to really work on that integrity within myself to make sure that I'm consulting people correctly and not just telling people what I assume they're going to love. Because she didn't. She had 5 tubs of Green Balance. She didn't like it. She tried to give it to me, and I was like, well, I don't want it. I'm not a big fan of the Green Balance, to be honest, but I know a lot of people that are, so we managed to go somewhere. Right, okay, the D. The D in Pride stands for drive and desire. So once again, we cannot give people the drive to win and the desire to do it. These are the character traits that people either already have or they have to adapt. They have to grow. So there has to be character traits that they're willing to develop through personal development. So outside of those 2 things, either people have drive and desire or they're willing to develop them through personal development. Those are the only 2 ways to have drive and desire. So people say to me, well, how do I get people to join my team? How do I give people drive and desire to get promoted? How do I give them the drive to want to go to work? And the answer is simple. You can't. You can't give people what they do not have and are not willing to develop within themselves. And if you look at any success-minded person, they have a drive to want to win and a desire to go and make something happen. So when I was plodding along in life, 2.5 years ago, pre-Arbonne, I was broke, I was miserable, I was oozing with drive and desire to find an opportunity that I could put my energy and efforts into. But at that time, there wasn't something that I could put that drive and desire into. So I was looking for something, but there was nothing there. And then obviously Arbonne came up. Emma explained Arbonne to me, and I loved it. I loved the concept, I loved the people, I loved the products, I loved everything about Arbonne. So I was able to input my drive and desire into something. So our drive and desire to win has to be greater than the circumstances that we are in. So for me, 2.5 years ago, my drive and desire was much higher than the circumstances that we are in. Now, think about somebody that you've spoke to about Arbonne that says, I really want more money, I really want more time, I really want to be able to use these products, I really want to be able to have the confidence that you have to build this business, I want blah, 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 and then they still say no. And you think, what? It's because their drive and desire isn't higher than the circumstances that they are in. Now, I guarantee if their mortgage was on the line and they had 1 month to earn £500 from something, and they literally were like, I've got to do it, then their drive and desire would be higher than the circumstances that they are in. If somebody stuck my child on the end of like a wooden log going from a high building to the next high building, I would walk across that log to get my child, even though I'm scared of heights, because my drive and desire to get my child is much greater than the circumstances of being on that high building. But if somebody said to me, just walk across that high building on that plank of wood, no child, I wouldn't do it, because my drive and desire isn't higher than my circumstances that I'm in. So it's weighing it up. Is your drive and desire to win greater than the circumstances that you're in? So when you're speaking to people about Arbonne, some people are not in good circumstances, but they're not willing to work at getting them any different. So your drive and desire to win has to be greater than the circumstances that you're in. Everybody has a list of problems. We all do. We all have problems. We all have things happen to us, like the washing machine breaks, the car needs new brake pads, our parents are ill, the kids are ill, we're ill. Yeah, we all have problems. If you wake up tomorrow morning and think, oh, I'm not going to work on my Arbonne business today because I'm not feeling very well, or my child's poorly, or blah blah blah, you're not alone. Everybody has things going on. Everybody has problems. But for some people, successful people, their list of wants is bigger than their list of problems. It's when your list of problems is bigger than your list of wants that you're in a pickle yourself, really. So which one weighs more to you? When I started this business, my circumstances were terrible, and I was willing to work on something else to make my circumstances better. So our drive and desire to win has to be greater than the circumstances that we are in. So the people whose circumstances are greater than their drive and desire. So where are the people that haven't got high levels of drive and desire? They're on the witness protection program. They've come into the business. They've said they want more. They've said they want more money. They've said they want more time. They've started the business, and then they're off. They're not doing it anymore. They're on the bench. They're not doing it because their drive and desire wasn't high enough. It wasn't big enough for their circumstances they're in. So the people that come to mind that have high levels of drive and desire are area manager in qualification, Natalie Crawford. Her husband was working offshore on oil rigs for months and months at a time. She's got 3 young children, and yet she's still building this business to area level. That is incredible. That's because her drive and desire is much higher than the circumstances that she is in. Natalie is not a victim. She's not, worries me, Gary's away, I've got 3 kids. She's just getting on with it. She's finding ways to make it happen. And then we've got independent consultant Ruth Tate. And we all know Ruth. Ruth is an absolute high level of drive and desire. She's been in the business since I've been in the business, so since really early on, and she will be in this business for the next 20, 30, 40 years because she has high levels of drive and desire. We've got Executive District Manager Jane Brown. I don't really need to say a lot about Jane. We all know she has high levels of drive and desire. Whatever the way, she's going to find it. Jane always finds the way. And then we've got District Manager Kelly Brown, who again, high levels of drive and determination. These people are the people that are 10 out of 10 for drive and desire. So where are you? If 10 is high levels of drive and desire, where are you on the scale? And 0 being no drive and desire. And if there's anybody that comes to your mind that has high levels of drive and desire, pop it in the chat, put some names down. Let's start, really thinking about people that are epitomizing these character traits. Right, the last character trait that we've got is excitement. So, it's simple. Excitement. I would love to sponsor people into this business that are happy to be around. This world is totally messed up, and you've only got to look at what's going on in the world. And I'm really not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying, look at what's going on, all the problems. There's so many challenges in our country right now. There's all this hoo-ha about Trump in America and politics and all of this negative stuff all over the world right now and on Facebook. And, you know, people are complaining about so many things these days. And when I just want people who, I want to sponsor people in this business who are just excited about the fact that they get to wake up in the morning and they've got air in their lungs. I want to sponsor people into this business that get up in the morning and they've got 10 fingers and 10 toes and they're grateful for that. I want to sponsor people into this business that have got the ability to see and hear and speak and they're grateful about that. I don't want to sponsor moaners because we can all moan about stuff. I want to sponsor people into this business that go to sleep at night feeling like they've accomplished things in the day, they're happy with the day, and they are excited if they're going to wake up the next day, because none of us know if we've got a tomorrow. We don't. So we can complain as much as we want about the world, but we don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow. So we need to cherish what we have today. We need to be grateful for the fact that our bodies are keeping us alive. We need to be grateful that we can hear, that we can talk, that we can see, that we can feel, that we can smell. And those are the people I want to sponsor into this business, not people that are complaining, people that are just excited to actually have life, because some people would give anything to have what you have right now on this call. So the people that really sprung to me as having high levels of excitement is obviously District Manager Claire Rousel-Smith. She is so happy for everything. She is the most fun, loving person to be around. She's always happy, she's always excited, and she just enjoys life. She's just grateful for life. This girl has had so many people cancel on her, stand her up, and do all kinds of plot twists, but yet she's excited and she's happy. And then District Manager Caroline Stalker. I first met Caroline in person this week and she was a massive ball of sunshine. I was like, this woman's larger than life, incredible, happy. You know, this is somebody that I want to be around. I want to be around people like this that are happy, that are fun, that are just enjoying life. And then I met District Manager in Qualification, Katie Hewlett, the other week as well at Discover Arbard. And I literally, the energy that she brought to the room, it could have made me fall over. I was blown away by this girl's energy and this girl's excitement. I could not believe, she is a 10 out of 10 for excitement. All of these people are high levels of excitement. So who can you think of that is a high level of excitement? Put their name in the chat. Who comes to mind as having high, extraordinary levels of excitement and happiness? So where are you out of 10? So 10 out of 10 being high levels of excitement and 0 out of 10 being not very excitable at all. So where are you as having that character trait, excitement? So what I would like you to do is to add up your numbers for each of those 5 character traits. So that's out of 50. So obviously we've got passion, which was out of 10. We've got resolve, which was out of 10, integrity out of 10, drive and desire out of 10, and excitement out of 10. So that equals 50. Add those numbers up and see where you are. And so many of us that are successful in this business started off as a 3, a 4, or a 5 out of 50, but we've grown into having higher levels of all of these character traits. Now, what I want you to think back to is the law of the lid, which we mentioned at the beginning. So if you are a 10 out of 50, you're not going to be able to sponsor anybody higher than a 10 out of 50. You cannot sponsor anybody into this business that has a higher number than you do. So what we have to do is take a look at the big secret. So what is the big secret? How do we sponsor success-minded people? So is everybody ready to find out how we do this? How on earth do we sponsor success-minded people? The answer is you first need to become the person that you are trying to sponsor. Okay? So you first need to become the person that you are trying to sponsor. You first need to become the person that you are trying to sponsor. So one last time, you first need to become the person that you are trying to sponsor. Michael Jackson wrote the song The Man in the Mirror, and it starts with the man in the mirror. It starts with us. We have to become the person that we are trying to sponsor. We have to become that high passion, that high resolve, that high integrity, that high drive and determination, and that high level of excitement. And once we become that, we attract other people with the same character traits. Sponsoring success-minded people starts with us. And Gandhi once said, we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. We can't change the world, but we can change us. And it starts with us. So when you do a one-to-one, think, does this person have passion? Do they have the resolve that when they get knocked down, they're going to bounce back? Do they sound like they have drive and determination? Do they seem excited? It's like a character checklist in your mind. So the more that we work on developing these character traits within ourselves, the more that we will actually find people just like us. So for me, the more that I worked on myself, the more I found people just like me, attracting people like me with the same character traits that I have. So this is how I began the process of raising my lid and growing my lid, like John Maxwell said. So I don't believe that anyone in this business will win big time if they're not obsessed with self-development, in growing themselves, in getting better and improving. And we can't be intimidated by people. So what I want you to do is to take this PRIDE acronym and utilize it. And you can use this and look at your team and know instantly why they're on the bench, because those 5 traits are not strengthened in them. And that's why they're on the bench. That's why they're not doing anything. That's why they're not growing. That's why people have blocks, because of these character traits. They need to grow these character traits. And you can tell people this. You can tell them where they are in their business is down to their character traits. So look at all of the vice presidents in the UK. All of these vice presidents in the UK have all individually grown businesses that generate 40,000 QV a month or more. That is insane. And they all have high levels of the PRIDE acronym. They all have high levels of these character traits. So what I want you to do is to write down where you are, like you already have, of each of these character traits. And we're going to redo this call in 6 months' time, in July. And the aim is to go up. So if you're a 1 for passion, the aim is to go up in July. So we're going to do the call again in July, and then we're going to see where your character traits are, how they've moved from January to July for a 6-month period. So this is what I did for myself. So when I started the business in 2014, I wrote down where I was, and then I did it again in August, and I'm still growing. There's still room to grow. There's still room to improve. So my top tips to end the call to help you grow yourself does come down to personal development. It's personal development that is going to help you grow those character traits in this business. Now, there are so many books that I can recommend, but my favorites for these topics, these character traits, are The Compound Effect and John C. Maxwell, The Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, and Simon Sinek, It Starts With Why. These are the books that I massively recommend to begin with on working on these character traits. So I really, really hope that in July, you're going to be seeing 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s, and you've worked on that personal development between now and July to raise your own lid, to bring up your own PRIDE acronym, to raise your own character traits. And by doing that, you're going to attract people who are just like you. And by doing that, that is what's going to help you to sponsor success-minded people. This is what it comes down to. This is how you will find people that are like you. You first need to become the person that you are trying to sponsor. So I just want to say a massive, massive thank you for everybody on the call. I know we've run over. I really, really hope that that's helped everybody with your own personal traits and how to find other people to sponsor into the business that have those same character traits. So a massive thank you, everybody. I've really enjoyed the training. Thanks, everyone. She works the night.